What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I'm gonna get real with you guys, man. I want to give my predictions for Jones versus Miocic 309, the main event of this card. John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Listen, kid, this is a badass fight, right? Like, I want to talk about this fight, but I'm just gonna be real. The division is absolutely cooked. The card is cooked. And I'm gonna be real, like, UFC in general right now is cooked. Like, I don't know about you guys. I have zero hype for this card. I have zero interest really in this card. The main event, I'm like trying really hard to be like, oh man, maybe Stipe Miocic is going to win. I'm going to talk about how I think this main event is going to go, and then I'm going to talk about John Jones versus Tom Aspinall because I have a controversial opinion. I'm just going to say it right now. I 100% believe John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall because he's a hard fight. But Am I fucking crazy that I think John Jones could low-key beat Tom Aspinall? Like, I've said this before, but I don't really get why, like, what reward do you get from fighting Stipe instead of Aspinall when I feel like there's a lot of question marks about Tom Aspinall that John Jones could, like, you know, expose, if that's the word that you want to say. I'll talk about that in a second, but first things first, I got to talk about the actual main event that we've got coming at UFC 308. We got John Jones, Stipe Miocic. Listen, kid, John Jones, let me tell you about this guy. He's the most badass fighter in the UFC. I think John Jones is going to win this fight, obviously. The sky's fucking blue. I think Jones is going to win this fight. I think Stipe is going to do better than Cyril Gane. Like, he's a better wrestler than Cyril Gane, obviously. He's a pretty good boxer, whereas Jones, I would say his weakest point in his game is his boxing. He does have good defense, especially in his overall kickboxing defense. He's very hard to hit. He does not get hit a lot. He has a very good chin. But Stipe Miocic is very good at boxing, specifically in that mid-range between clinching and kickboxing. He's really good in that middle range where Jones struggles. Like, he struggled against Gustafsson. He struggled against DC. He struggled against Reyes. In close, uppercut, hook, body shot range, which is honestly where Stipe Miocic is really fucking good. And I know that he's like 47 years old, but I think the layoff is actually a good thing for Stipe going into this fight because his chin's not a factor. I know, like, Jones has, bro, Jones, I've said this before and I've been wrong, but I don't give a fuck. Jones is putting up fucking Bilal Muhammad numbers in the knockdowns, brother. I think Stipe is going to be all right chin-wise in this fight. I think Jones is going to win a decision. I don't think he has the power to hurt Stipe with his hands. I think he could hurt him with an elbow or a knee or a head kick, but I don't know if he will. I think he's going to play a long game with like oblique kicks, some eye pokes. You know, those are classic moves with Jones. The knees to the body when Stipe steps in, I can really see that a lot. Spinning back kicks to the body. I think Stipe, like, the way that I picture this fight going is Jones is going to struggle with Stipe's boxing. Stipe is going to do better than Cyril Gane to defend the takedowns, get back up if he gets taken down. We saw that against DC. I know that was like 10 years ago, but still, he is really fucking good. Like, he's the heavyweight GOAT, dude. Don't let him fool you getting on the, you know, man, I'm retired, you know, retire. You know, I'm 42 years, I'm coming to knock him out, you know, I'm ready, you know, win, I want to get my belt. You know, Stipe Miocic is still that guy, in my opinion. I think he's going to do better than Gane. Like I said, I think that the layoff is good for him in terms of recovering from injuries. He's had a lot of time to prepare. He's had 2 training camps for John Jones. I think it's going to help his durability. But I also think it's going to slow him down and mean that he gets, you know, tagged up at range with the kicks to the body, with the oblique kicks, with the jab of John Jones. And I think Jones is going to play on the outside. I don't think he's going to get takedowns super easy. He has like 45% takedown accuracy. I think Stipe Miocic's best moments are going to be pushing Jones up against the fence with high activity, high output, which I saw on the countdown is something that he's focusing on. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm coaching Stipe to beat Jones, but if he beats Jones, it was my doing. Okay, dude, I'm going to take fucking credit for that because I think that Stipe's best moments are going to be lead hand combinations, jab hook. I think he's going to use the uppercut in close really well, which is a big weakness of John Jones. Something that Stipe is very good at is that uppercut in close, and that is something that lands a lot on John Jones. Dominic Reyes landed it really clean on him. DC was landing it a lot. Gustafsson, Santos. A lot of guys are able to find the uppercuts in the boxing specifically against John Jones, but he has a good chin. Like, I think Stipe's best way to win a fight, even though he's looked good coming off long layoffs before, he is a knockout guy. Like, he's like a 75% finish rate, I'm pretty sure, all by knockout. So I think for Stipe to win, it kind of has to be by KO. Like what? Are the judges gonna give like Stipe, this fucking guy Stipe, who literally Dana White refused to promote until this fight because he wants Jones to win? They're gonna give him a decision at MSG? No, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think he's gonna knock out Jones. Like Jones's chin is too good. His defense is very good. His boxing is his worst defense. But even then, if he gets backed up against the fence, he gets tagged up with some shots, he's just gonna run away. He's gonna retreat and use his fight IQ. I think Jones is way too smart to get backed up by a pressure boxer, to trade in the pocket with Stipe, where Stipe will have an advantage in the boxing. I think Stipe will try and use calf kicks to slow down Jon Jones, but I think Jon Jones is a lot more versatile as a striker, and I feel like he's just too smart. He's too smart. I think that's what it is. I don't even think he necessarily has to wrestle too much to win this fight. I do think this will be a very close, I think it'll be close on the numbers. I think that's what I'll say. I don't think Stipe is going to get robbed. I think Jones is going to cruise to a pretty chilled decision, like a 48-47 on one scorecard, 49-46. Maybe some people kind of cry robbery, but I don't even think that'll happen. I think this is just such a, I don't know. I think Stipe coming off that huge layoff, he has a lot of experience. He has a lot of things that have worked well against Jon Jones. Like, if this was 2021, I might be, I know me. I would be the guy dude, Stipe's going to fucking KO Jones, man. Like, that would 100% be me. If I had this channel in 2021, this fight got made. Mate, Stipe's fucking chinning Jon Jones, bro. Jones sucks. He lost to Reyes, which he did lose to Reyes, right? But it's 2024, bro. You know, Jones had that huge layoff because of the injury, but before that, he did look good against Cyril Gane. It is a good win against a current contender who's still at the top of the division. And that's why I want to talk about Jones versus Aspinall as well. I don't know why he's ducking Aspinall. No one wants to see him fight Stipe. He's making himself look like a bitch when he could beat Tom Aspinall. And I know people think that's crazy to say, but I would say you're crazy, not me. Jon Jones, let me tell you about this. I can't even say the name without laughing, but listen, dude. I'm serious. Does Jon Jones does he or does he not have plot armor? Yes or no? He fucking does, and you know he does. He lost to Reyes, they gave him the decision. He came back from a huge layoff against active top contender Cyril Gane, who was a favorite when the fight opened, and a lot of you motherfuckers picked Cyril Gane. I didn't forget that shit because he's a heavyweight, and Jon Jones fucking destroyed him. I don't like Jon Jones. I hope Jon Jones gets chinned and flatlined and embarrassed by Stipe. And then Stipe gets on the mic, yeah, I'm gonna retire. I've done enough to sport. DC, I'm retired. I'm retired. But it's not gonna happen. And the reason is, Jon Jones is still extremely high fight IQ, and he has every tool necessary, especially in the grappling, which I would honestly say is going to be the biggest, weapon for him in this division. And I know that Tom Aspinall is oh my god, Tom Aspinall is going to destroy Jon Jones. Who's chinned Jon Jones? Nobody. Who's able to hit Jon Jones enough to chin him? Nobody. Who's taking down Jon Jones? Olympic fucking wrestler DC? No. Gustafsson took him down for 1 second. Joe Rogan creamed his pants. Immediately got back up at 49-46 Gustafsson. I'm sorry, dude. I like Tom Aspinall. I 100% agree that Jon Jones is ducking him. But I don't know why. We have so many things we don't know about Tom Aspinall. What does he look like off his back? Nobody knows. What does he look like in round 3? Nobody knows. You know what I mean? I think Jon Jones is actually smart enough, good enough at creating game plans, well-rounded enough. He's the most skillful fighter in the heavyweight division, except for Tom Aspinall. That's 1A and 1B in the division in terms of pure skill. Tom Aspinall's a great striker. Bit goofy with his head movement. I could see Jones exploiting that, right? He is a little bit, injury prone as well. I could definitely see the oblique kicks being a big factor. He's very fast, though. I think he'd be faster than Jones. I think that'd be a big factor. I think he would struggle to take down Jon Jones. I don't think he'd be able to knock him out on the feet unless he's just crazy powerful, even more than we think. But he's fighting, he's knocking out people that have already been knocked out. And I just feel like the level of competition at the heavyweight division, it jumps so heavily when you get into the top 5. It's dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. Curtis Blades is there. Then it takes another jump. Tom Aspinall's there. And then I feel like Jon Jones is at the top of the level in terms of skill, coming from light heavyweight, the experience that he has. Like I said, he's very fucking proven. I don't like Jon Jones. I feel like I need to keep saying that because people like, I don't know. I feel like I've almost been, it's almost like you're not even allowed to say the idea that Jones could beat Aspinall, but I actually think he could. And I don't know why he's ducking this fight in favor of fighting fucking old man Stipe over here. Who, if he loses to Stipe, and fuck that, even if he struggles with Stipe, all this fucker's gonna hear is nobody's gonna be on the internet except for Dana White. Listen, kid, Jon Jones, how do you not make this guy pound for pound number one? Right? No one's going to be saying that except for some delusional old heads. All this guy's going to hear online, and in terms of people discussing his legacy, bro, struggled with old man Stipe. Imagine what Aspinall would have done. You could fight Aspinall and do well. You literally, like, you're not washed. You're not even washed. You just destroyed Cyril Gane. And in my opinion, I've said this before, Cyril Gane is equivalent, in my opinion, to beating Curtis Blades. Cyril Gane arguably to some people beat Francis Ngannou. I thought Ngannou won that fight, but people gave that fight to Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane was undefeated before he fought Ngannou, and that's the only loss of his career was Ngannou and Jones. Like Cyril Gane is a good win, and Jones didn't just beat him; he fucking destroyed him. The same way that people glazed Aspinall for destroying contenders that are arguably lesser than Gane, including people that Gane has fucking beat. I think Gane would beat Pavlovich as well. I think Gane would be a very hard fight for Curtis Blades as well. I think Blades could beat Gane because of his wrestling, but even then, Gane is really fucking good. The way that Jones beat Gane, I'm sorry, that makes me think, you know what, this guy could beat Tom Aspinall. That's not ridiculous to say that. It's not ridiculous to say that. So all in all, when it comes to the heavyweight division, this pay-per-view is fucking cooked. It's going to ruin the heavyweight division because Jones is either going to beat Stipe and retire, and we get Aspinall versus Pereira for the vacant belt, and the entire time people are just going to be saying, oh, well, I wish we got Aspinall versus Jones, which we should be getting. And it is an interesting matchup, and people are divided on it. I would say most logical people are divided on it. Like, there's people out there that think Jones destroys Aspinall. I don't believe that. I think he would have a tough time with Aspinall, but I think he could beat him. There are people that think Aspinall destroys Jones. I don't agree with that either, right? But it's up in the air. I feel like we're all in agreement here that Stipe will probably do all right and lose to Jon Jones. What's the point? What's the fucking point of this shit, dude? I feel like every video I'm dropping, I'm just ranting on this shit. I don't give a fuck about this card. The rest of it is dog shit. I'm giving you my predictions later this week because I know that, you know, like, prediction videos are fucking fire. You guys love that shit. But man, the division is just in shambles because it's either Jones versus Stipe and then retirement, or Jones versus Stipe and then Jones versus Pereira. And classic Jon Jones. This guy refuses to fight Tom Aspinall, even though that's a way better win for his legacy, and we all fucking know that, including him. Nah, this guy wants to fight a former middleweight for his last... Like, is that not the most Jon Jones thing ever? To try and fight a former middleweight as his last defense? I don't know, man. Fuck Jon Jones. Fuck this main event. I hope Stipe wins. He's not going to. It should be Jones versus Aspinall. That's actually a competitive fight that people are split on in terms of who they think's going to win. I'm serious. Like, I think it would be very up in the air. And the last thing I'll say on that, if you disagree with me that I think Jones would beat Aspinall, that he could beat Aspinall, like, I know that it's a meme on the channel. Jones genuinely has plot armor, bro. Like, I've never seen this motherfucker lose a fight in my life, dude. I just cannot picture. I would never pick against Jon Jones. As much as I hate him, I've never picked against him. I never fucking will. I'm sure he could find a way to beat basically any fighter in front of him unless he's completely washed. And I think Jon Jones is the type of psychopath that would never get in the cage if he knew he was washed. Like, I genuinely think Jones is so egotistical, so afraid of losing. He would never get in the cage with a fighter he didn't think he could beat. Like, if he didn't have a game plan, 100%, this is how I'm going to beat him, I don't think Jones would ever step foot in the cage. So maybe that's why he doesn't want to fight Aspinall. Maybe he genuinely has no idea how he'd beat him, but I think Jones could beat him. I think Jones could be able to do it. Like, if he's able to stuff the takedowns, extend the fight later on, or if Aspinall wants to strike with him, if Jones can just smudge him against the fence and waste time. I want to see Aspinall in round 3 or 4, you know? And I think Jones is the only guy that can really extend him because of his chin, because of his defense, because of his well-rounded skills. Like, I think that's the most interesting fight in the division. So the fact that we're not fucking getting it makes me think this division's cooked. The pay-per-view's cooked. It's boring as fuck to talk about just Jones versus Stipe, so I wanted to include some talk about Jones versus Aspinall. Let me know what you guys think down below, though. Who would you pick? Jones or Aspinall? I know all of you are picking Jones against Stipe. I'm not even going to insult your fucking intelligence. Go, guys, who do you think's going to win? Jones or Stipe? Who do you guys think's going to win? I think Jones is going to win, but anybody could win it. You can't count out Stipe. I will be counting out Stipe, bro. I will be counting out Stipe, brother. I'm sorry. I love Stipe Miocic with all my heart. He ain't winning this fight. If he wins this fight, I will wear a suit for every live stream for the rest of my YouTube career. That's a fact. Lock that in. All right, man. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. I'll drop my predictions for the full card this week. It will be fun to talk about. I'll do a lot of Trump impressions. I got you guys. So I'll see you in that video, man. Have a good one, boys. Goodbye.